welcome to this latest edition of IGN Live. Today we are playing Call of the Dead. I am Peter Eichemans. I'm sitting here with Anthony Gallegos.
Hello.
Bobby Amos is playing over here. And downstairs we have Brian Miggles and Stephanie Lee to round out the team. Now, to give the viewers a little bit of insight into this, Anthony, you want to kick off what Call of the Dead's all about?
Yeah, so Call of the Dead is the latest zombie map in the Call of Duty Black Ops Escalation DLC. It's kind of different from the other ones in the sense that the other ones still had you playing as kind of historical figures of varying importance. And the new one has you playing as some of, I guess, horror movies' favorites. So you have Robert Englund, who's famous for doing the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. You have Danny Trejo, who did Predators and Machete. You have Sarah Michelle Gellar, who recently, I mean, you know, she's best known for her work in Buffy. And then you have Michael Rooker, who is famous for Slither, but also more recently famous for Walking Dead. And so now these four are the ones you're doing battling out zombies. You're listening to their voice acting, and most importantly, you know, you're actually facing off not only against zombies, but against a zombified George Romero, who, you know, kind of invented the modern zombie genre.
Definitely, with Night of the Living Dead,
Right.
the original crazies, things along those lines.
Right.
And just so everyone out there knows, we're going to be taking your questions the whole time, so go ahead and shoot a tweet or in the comments of the article on the site to @IGN #BlackOps, and we're going to do our best to get all your questions answered as we dig into this match of Call of the Dead.
Yeah, right now we're just actually searching for a match.
Did they cut out on me?
But I guess, you know, to kick things off, I mean, we can already start answering some of the questions that have come in, you know, from earlier today. So Simro Hugh, sorry if I get the phonetics wrong, asks, the achievements hint at a possible ending to this map. Is there actually an end to the zombie map?
So far, so I've been kind of, you know, watching YouTube to see the videos that are posted today. So far, I haven't seen anybody beat it. As far as I know, it still goes on how many rounds you can get through. Like, I've already heard people have gotten through 36 rounds and then died. But I don't think that killing the George Romero zombie is the end. Now, they do say that you will be able to kill him. You know, you have to, they say that you can do it through straight up shooting him, but they also say, they allude that there will be ways to kill him through the environment. So they say shoot everything with every gun. So I'm still curious to see how that, what exactly that's going to mean.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of answers to what can be shot with a lot of options. So we're still waiting just to get into a game here. But I mean, the IGN Super Team is ready for when we can go. But you know, we'll keep digging into some questions just to prep everyone for when we actually get into the game. So next up, I am not an Irish guy. Very capitalized name, so we don't know. It could go one or the other. He may be Irish, maybe not. Asks, what's the new gun that everyone's talking about that shoots lightning?
It's the, oh, sorry, it doesn't shoot, sorry.
Oh, he goes on. He goes on.
Sorry.
Cool.
So he has some possible answers himself. Is it the Wunderwaffe, or a brand new gun that replaces the Thunder gun?
Just get Migs to join
Yeah,
would be set.
so it is a gun that replaces the Thunder gun. It's called the VR-11.
Trying to get Migs to join.
And so what everyone thinks that it is there's actually this book that involves zombies. I forget the name of the book, but in the book there was this gun that could turn zombies back into humans, and it was called the VR-IL. And so this gun, when you look at it, the labeling on site, it says VR-11. And what it actually does, from what I've seen, is it actually does change these zombies back into humans. So when you shoot them, you might, hopefully we'll see it during the match, you'll see them, and then all of a sudden they're just the screaming human who's freaking out that they're surrounded by zombies.
All right, can we start match?
Cool. All right. So we are almost there, and looks like we have one person from the general public joining us today. I'll give a shout out to their gamer tag as soon as we get into the game and can give the full lowdown on who that might be.
We are finally loading now, though.
Finally.
But it is, we're getting into a match, so prepare for Call of the Dead from George A. Romero.
Roger.
But anyways, before it even fully loads, let's take some more questions, because I know you guys have a lot of them. And probably a lot of people still at work waiting to even get their copy when they get home. So let's dig in. Alec Azam
Like 30 million
says,
people watching.
this is the first time there's a playable female character in the Nazi zombie series.
Correct.
What do you guys think about this? Is it refreshing? Is it a gimmick? Is it a nod to a great TV character? Or is it just a coincidence?
I mean, I think it's obviously partially a gimmick and a nod to a great TV character. I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, even though the name immediately turned a lot of people off to that series and stuff, you know, it was a show that to a large degree, was created, and written by Joss Whedon of Firefly fame. So I mean, a lot of people really love it, and it's so cool, like actually just hearing her and hearing her voice acting, So right now on Bobby's screen, you can actually see the George Romero zombie, who actually, as far as we know, you can't kill him outright. I mean, you can if you take time, but every time you shoot him, he freaks out and gets angry. So that's why they're kind of just avoiding him and letting him slowly walk around and chase them.
Yeah, and I know what you'll see if people do try to attack him, you'll see giant lightning bolts come across the screen. You'll see almost like an earthquake hitting the screen. So definitely something to watch out for in the early stages of zombie map. And if you guys can see, if you look closely, it looks like he's holding a stage light, kind of, call back to it.
Yeah, an homage to the fact that he's a film director. Yeah.
All right, so we got a few more questions coming in.
Just keep them
Fargo Thring asks, will your perks be in danger of being stolen, as in the previous map?
So I know that in Ascension there were monsters that could take your perks, but so far from what I've seen, I haven't seen any monsters in Call of the Dead that will take your perks from you. I think your perks are safe this time around.
Seeming like it this time. All right, keeping going, we have Legendary Alex asks, hey IGN, I'd like to know how it differs from the other zombie levels, and if it sticks to the original idea or wanders off.
So the other zombie levels were kind of always themed around the idea of finding a place and holing up in it. You did move, you would fall back to new points and stuff, but technically you would always kind of jump and everyone would watch a door. In this one, there's much less rebuilding of barriers and that sort of thing. I mean, people still do it obviously to get points, but since the level is so open, this is very much so a level that is based around mobility. So, like to Bobby's left, there's a giant boat. To his right, there's a fortress. And the whole time you're using zip lines and launching ramps and stuff to constantly be moving throughout the whole level. This isn't one where you're supposed to hole up. And you can't really hole up because the George Romero zombie, again, will come barging on your door.
Yeah, it seems like anywhere you go, he will follow the team, or at least one member of the team, so it's definitely...
Yeah, and I mean, and this level's different in the sense that it has its own Easter eggs, many of which we haven't even had the time yet to discover in the few hours that it's been out, so...
Yeah, no, it seems like the kind of, with the wide open spaces, and like you mentioned, the zip lines and ways to get around the level.
Yeah, I mean, you'll use the zip lines, the zombies will use the zip lines, so, I mean, mobility is a big deal, not only for you, but for the enemies. You would think, oh, they're slow-moving zombies, I can just run, use a zip line, get to the other side, and have forever to take them out. And to some degree, that's true. You can use sniper rifles to greater effect in this level, but, they will use zip lines, too, to close the gap.
He coming too. He looks
One cool thing to notice in this kind of frozen level, you'll see that when you jump in the water, either to chase or get away from George Romero, you'll see the edge of the screen kind of bring in an icy flare. And it keeps going all the way down to the middle. I haven't actually seen anyone die that way.
I'm not sure if it'll kill you so far because I've been too scared to sit there, but it will blind you. And so, you'd be tempted just to sit in the water because it calms George Romero's character down. But you can't just sit in the water because you'll be blinded and the zombies will sneak up on you. So, it's just kind of them making sure that you don't exploit it.
Yeah, and you'll notice with paths running every which way through the level, you always got to watch your back because you never know what's coming up behind you.
Right.
All right, so to keep things going and kind of on the note of George Romero running through the level, Boy Genius asks, can you kill George Romero or is he always going to be there?
Yeah, no, so I have not personally been able to survive long enough to kill him yet. But from what I'm told and what I've heard, you can kill him both with normal gunfire, slowly but surely. But there apparently are key ways to kill him throughout the environment if you just pay attention, is what I've heard from the Treyarch side. So what exactly that means, I don't know. It could be that there's certain box you can fire once you have the power on that'll shock him. It's hard to know yet. But I doubt that the ideal way to killing him is just filling him full of bullets.
Yeah,
yes,
I know.
From what I understand, you can stop him.
I'm trying to get there.
But it'll be exciting to see the different ways people start figuring out how to bring him down because it seems like the whole thing is really centered around him chasing the team around.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously the centerpiece and, a huge draw for the appeal of what's going on.
Cool. All right, on to the next. From Happy Reject, we've got, the trailer showed one of the characters using a unique melee kill in which they stabbed the zombie from behind. Can that be done?
I haven't seen that yet, but I would hope that there would be more unique kills, especially because the teaser trailer showed all this crazy melee combat. Machete was using, or Danny Trejo was using 2 machetes. Sarah Michelle Gellar was doing kung fu moves. Robert Englund was using a pitchfork. And so far, the melee combat in this is very very much so the same thing that it's always been, you know, quick knife slash or a stab. But yeah, I don't know actually. That is a good question. I've only played a few hours myself. It is obviously the first day that it's out, and yeah, I haven't seen the any unique melee kills myself.
Yeah, and if there's anything to be learned from what we've seen so far between, you know, the secrets of George Romero and stuff hidden through the level, there's definitely a lot buried here within that it's going to take people a long time to figure out, I think.
Yeah.